And we're live. Just missed that.
We're back.
You do that every single episode?
I think he's going to.
Welcome back to episode number 7. This is not the late night edition. This is the early morning edition.
It's much more pep in everyone's step than the
because we do everything based on Tommy's schedule.
My work schedule. It's, it's like
he's the only one that matters. Everyone else doesn't matter.
Oh, you know,
Michael, can I do your favorite thing on podcast?
Oh, here we go.
Gosh,
so annoying.
I got a coffee too, Jim. I almost did the same.
I already had my coffee, worked out everything, showered, ready to go.
Tom,
Ready to start my day.
Let's do it together.
All right, ready? 1, 2, 3.
Okay.
All right.
Well, now we can start. So Tommy is still on the 8:30 to what is it? 12 to 8:30 shift.
Yeah, 12 to 8:30 shift. The strangest shift of all time.
That literally is the dumbest shift I've ever heard.
It's so stupid. And
Well,
there's a reason.
Did I used to do something like that? I think I did. I think I did a swing shift like 1 to 10 maybe, or 1 to 9. I can't remember.
Tommy, would you
1 to
rather
8?
do that or lifeguarding?
I mean, lifeguarding's not so bad, you know, but probably this actually.
Yeah.
You know, I just had to fill out like a big thing for my fellowship year, and I was like, your job's going back 10 years. And I was like, 10 years. I was like, every single person coming here for fellowship has been in either a medical training or like residency.
Or you like,
years.
I've never had a job.
Yeah, I was like, well, literally, it was like going back. They're like, don't include residency, intern year, or medical school.
Does yard work for mom count?
Yeah, I was like, so the past 9 years of my life, I can't put it out. I was like, so what? So the 1 year before that, I was a lifeguard, swim coach, swim instructor. I put that down. And I was like, what's the even point of doing this?
Guys never had a job before.
All right, I've had a job before.
No, you haven't. What's your
Yeah,
job?
Huh?
What's your job?
look
What's your job? What's your job?
I mean,
Sell
a
your car.
physician? Yeah.
Because you're stupid.
You've
Hey,
never.
let's talk about Dave Ramsey, since we always do Dave Ramsey
Yeah.
soundboarding.
Probably nobody has any idea what that is, except the true Dave Ramsey fans.
Right.
So we say sell your car because Dave Ramsey's advice is always like, sell everything you have, have nothing, and start walking to work every day.
He's basically like a boomer financial advisor on YouTube.
He's right
Slash
in one sense.
PBS.
Yeah,
He's
he's
got the
right
right
in one
idea.
sense.
Yeah.
Where it's like, yeah, you shouldn't, if you make 30 grand a year, you shouldn't buy a Tesla, right?
Yeah. Or have a $800 car payment every month.
But his advice never changes on somebody. It's always
I
the
know.
same step
Yeah.
1 through 7 with the baby steps that he calls it. So whether or not you make, you can make 30 grand a year and you bought a Porsche Panamera, right? Or if you make 80 grand a year and you bought
Like a Subaru
3 Series
Forester.
BMW or something like
yeah.
that, he's going to be like, sell your car.
He's not fluid with anything.
No.
You need to sell your car right now, and you need to start walking to work, and it's rice and beans for the next 15 years.
I was going to say the rice and beans. He's like, you literally can't do anything of enjoyment for the next 15 years.
You will
Yeah.
suffer. Yeah, you will suffer. He basically is like, you got yourself in this, which most of the people calling are in massive amounts of debt.
And
Yeah.
he'll sit there and listen to somebody's story for like 3 minutes straight, and then he'll just go, I'm sorry, I forgot the part in scripture where Jesus drove a Tesla.
What? I've never heard him say that.
I've never heard him say that.
Oh, he just says like he's like a giant a-hole most of the time.
Yeah, he's not
Yes,
a nice
he
guy.
is.
On the phone.
Yeah.
He is. Well, he's frank. He's to the point.
Yeah, I guess.
And
So.
he's just
Yeah.
like, look, he's like, look, I have no pity for you buying a BMW 5 Series when you make $40,000 a year and you have an $800 a month car payment and you pull in $1,200 a month. How stupid.
Yeah.
See,
Why-
I feel like it's better to know about Dave Ramsey before you start off in life rather than after.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
But
better
also-
to grow off of that than do anything.
But I never understood that. That's my biggest pet peeve, is when a lot of people feel like entitled, especially when it comes to cars. They feel like, they have to have a brand new car for some reason. Why is a brand new car such a status symbol?
Yeah.
I don't
Like
know.
me. I have a brand
Didn't
new
you get one?
Yeah, but I can afford it.
get
So But I'm saying it, but I don't need it. I'm also looking at $3,000 Jeeps because I really don't care. I don't ever drive my car that much. So
Yeah.
but I'm saying
Yeah,
this for
I don't
people
know.
who
Like if I was you and Adriana, I would just share one car.
but I can't in New Jersey. You can't not have two cars. You just can't. And then
should just
Adriana's
have-
constantly driving. So
Yeah, you should have AG's car, and then you buy like a $3,000 lifted Jeep or something. Then you
I'm gonna give her. I think we're gonna sell her car as soon as her warranty's done. Sell her car, give her mine because I have like no miles on my car,
Yeah,
and
Yeah,
that's
just
right. Hers is like
she's gonna ride that out.
trade in the
Yeah.
Audi for a beater Jeep.
That's what I was thinking about. But then I don't want to like if I have to repair it, because I don't drive it for a lot of time. Like I don't drive it for many days on end. So like and then I'm gonna have this Jeep. It's like doesn't start, and then I'm like, God, it's just like it's so annoying. It's better to have two cars in that case and just buy the Jeep and just drive it around. But yeah, I never understood why people because before I am in the position I am now, I didn't even it wasn't even on my radar to like buy a brand new foreign car. Like that wasn't even in the realm of possibilities. So I'm like, why would I give myself $800 a month car payment when that's like 30% of my monthly income?
Oh yeah,
Doesn't make any sense.
a car is the ultimate symbol of like perceived status symbol, and
It's
I feel
weird.
like
Why is that?
I don't know. People, it's because it's the most obvious thing you see when you're like running into people or you're like driving around. It's like you see people in their car all the time.
Yeah, but like no one cares.
Yeah, no one gives a crap. Like I couldn't care
You
less
know?
about that stuff.
Like I don't care
care.
what kind of. Okay, Jim, you're the
Yeah,
least one
I
that
think-
cares.
Yeah.
I think people. I
Yeah,
rank
have you
people in
seen
my
Jim's
mind
car?
based on their car.
Jim put his car on get around and had multiple accidents. Like the bumper's gone, and Jim never fixes it.
I
Yeah.
could not care less.
Well, it's just an item. Like it's just a
Realize
thing.
how many cans of hairspray were left in my car after people would rent it?
Cans of
What?
hairspray.
Like cans of hairspray, like hair products, food.
Like people doing their makeup and hair in the car and stuff.
Yeah, and like getting fast food and dropping French fries in the bottom of it and stuff.
God.
Jim reaches on their seats like I've been to McDonald's in 20 years and there's like
Yeah.
35 French fries out of there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't understand. I just don't. I mean, to me, it's like it's just a thing. Like it's just a thing that gets me there and back. I used to like.
I mean, I would put your Audi on Get Around and you
Yeah,
make
but I
a
don't think
killing
it-
off of it.
I don't think around here.
Yeah.
I really
He's-
don't. I think
he's
that's a
more
big
suburban.
city. Yeah. You're not gonna get that around here. Where are people gonna go?
Yeah.
You know.
Also, most people there already have a car. You're not there. with them.
yeah. Like there's
there's not
yeah.
a public transportation. in
everybody
the
has a car
suburbs.
here.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but I don't know. I love my car, but yeah, I see, those old Jeeps. I just want a little beater Jeep because you can just like run over a curb. You don't care. Like you back into a sign. Like who cares?
Yeah. That's
It's
my
just-
car. That's
The
what I
one,
do.
the one thing bad is that the speakers in those old cars are so terrible.
Ah,
Yes, they are.
So
abomination.
terrible.
they do that
But-
buzzing thing for the
Yeah. I'm like, God. And the one thing, this sounds like super pretentious, but not having Bluetooth in a car is like so annoying.
Yeah, that's significantly.
You
God,
know,
that thing's sick though.
I know.
I know.
See, like,
This-
but those are
this
expensive
Renegade?
now. Look how expensive those are, though. Those are probably like $10,000, and it's like,
Yeah.
Sold for 11,000 in February.
Sold for 11,000.
oh yeah, see, $11,000, and that's how old is that? 32-year-old car.
You
But
basically
they
have to
haven't modded.
commit to.
I love this.
Yeah, the thing's sick.
Well, the reason I want it, and you the same, Jim, is because we live close to the water, so
Yeah.
just to like
I
throw
was
those in.
thinking- I
Don't
see-
care about getting sand in it.
Yeah. I see Jeeps all the time driving down to the beach. So I live like 15 minutes from the beach now.
Did
Just
that
keep the
white
top
one?
off.
That white one with the gigantic tires.
That one?
No, the down below where your cursor is.
Oh, that one's too big.
Yeah, that's so
This is too
absurd.
big. This would
Yeah,
float
that's
in
so-
water.
Yeah,
over the
that's
top.
excessive, but just a simple lifted Jeep.
Michael,
like,
all
that's
you
the
got to
perfect
do
one.
is make a couple more videos about how doctors aren't paid enough, and then you can buy one of these.
Those are cheap. They're not like crazy expensive, but
Doctors are quitting. Doctors are not paid enough.
hey, maybe
Doctors.
you should take some notes. You haven't made a video in a long time.
Yeah, I know. I'm about to make one today, though. I'm about to make
Yeah.
one today.
The channel is dying.
Well,
The revenue is decreasing.
What was your last video, Jim?
A couple weeks ago.
Yeah,
Jeez. Way to keep up with the algorithm.
Yeah, the way my schedule goes, I can't do it. These months where I work
No
a
such
lot
thing as
during the
can't.
weekday, no such thing as can't.
Gotta make it work.
Okay.
When can you make it work? You can always make it work.
I'm just gonna stop talking because
Yes.
You can make anything work if you wanted to.
yeah, there's only so many hours in the day though.
Yeah, wake up early.
So here's what you're not factoring in.
Michael's the
Here's
Dave
what you're
Ramsey of work.
I know.
I
Well, I
know.
just
this Dave Ramsey of lifestyle.
Yeah. Wake up early.
Make it
Don't
work.
sleep. Don't eat. Whatever.
Sell
Do it.
everything and
Yeah.
focus on
Yeah.
YouTube. No, here's what
So-
you're not factoring in. Okay?
I'm like Kim K. What did Kim K say? She's like, you
"Get
gotta
off
work.
your ass and work. Nobody
they're the
wants to work
worst.
these days. Oh, dear
Nobody
God.
wants to work. Do you like if you had to put a monetary, just a strict number on how much money she's had access to by the family she was
Ah.
born into?
It's
Do
mean,
you think it's like
astronomical.
$100 million just as like
Easily.
Yeah.
just direct access to start?
I think that was like what they were born into.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
That
know,
was
at
before they were
least
famous.
$50 million. Now, I will say they've
It's basically
obviously
us.
they've obviously progressed in
Chili's
like
pizza.
10x that
Like-
through incredible hard work. Is like
Yeah,
they
but
do work
no,
hard.
Okay.
No, I'm-
that's
no, hold on,
a
let me
different
finish.
type of hard work.
No, I agree
Good
with that
finish.
because
Yeah.
once you have
It's
access,
not roof thatching.
correct.
Right.
Once you have access to that kind of wealth to begin, you have avenues to increase that wealth substantially. It's not like you're starting from the ground up, you know what I mean? But because you already have your footing and you already have everything laid out for you. So A, you have nothing
Yeah.
to lose. You can do more investments. B, your avenues of income open up. C, your connections to people open up. But
Yeah.
I'm not discounting their hard work because they open their own lines, they open their own blah blah blah, and they did really well. But also like it's kind of
You're kind of
everything's
set
kind of like
up to be able to do that.
yeah, it's like
Yeah.
everything it was just like that was just a part of them being alive and
Yeah.
pursuing it. It
You
wasn't
can take
like
those chances to make a lot of money because you know there's like nowhere to fall after that if the chance doesn't
Correct.
work out.
Yeah, your safety net is losing 50 million and I've got 100 million left.
Yeah.
exactly.
It's a much
So,
different chance
In this
than you could take.
hypothetical scenario. I mean, I don't know, but
Yeah.
No, I mean they have progressed and made, each of them have like become almost billionaires, or if not billion. I think Kim K is, and Kylie was
Yeah, I
at some
think-
point, but
Yeah. I just hate the concept that they're like nobody works. It's like, oh, shut up.
if
Like,
you lay more roof what are they called,
Shingles?
if you lay more shingles, you can also be where
yeah,
I am.
yeah.
You
They're
have
like,
to
why aren't
work.
you just a billionaire?
know.
It's like, okay,
Yeah.
shut up. Like, can you not do this, please?
yeah, you have to work. Is there anything worse than celebrity preaching to you
No.
about stuff? Whether
is.
it's like where it's a moral high ground or a work ethic high ground or ethics in general, it's the worst.
There's nothing that pisses me off more than celebrities like preaching at you, like you said, Jim. Oh,
Oh,
I hate it. I'm like, what?
I can't watch
when
they're
there's a
so out of
tragedy and they
touch.
release an acapella like lip syncing
Oh,
video or something like
God.
that on Twitter.
Oh, did you see that? I don't even know who she was.
I know exactly
Yeah,
what you're talking
and
about.
she
Oh
calls,
yeah,
like-
yeah.
she,
She's like an
like-
old 90210 star.
Yeah, and she's like,
something.
if I were Putin's mother, this wouldn't
Yeah.
happen. It's like, oh, could you imagine
I'm
being
so sorry
so
that
out
you
of
were
touch with
born
humanity.
into a world of tragedy and I wasn't your mother.
Yeah. I know you all are suffering, but let's
In
make
other
this about
words,
me.
Exactly. In other words, don't forget about me.
yeah. Don't
I
forget,
know I
don't
haven't
forget
been on a
about me, guys.
sitcom in 30 years, but
That's,
Yeah.
that's an
Please.
Anthony Jeselnik line. Hey, don't forget about me.
Yeah,
Thoughts and
thought-
prayers.
Thoughts and prayers. Don't forget about me today.
yeah, I don't know. That's they're so out of touch with reality, and that's why I don't know why people still watch the Academy Awards, like
Oh.
or any of those award shows. What is that? It's
I
like
still pay attention because I like movies.
I
and
can't
like
stand
going to, I know Michael doesn't. We've played this one out, but
I hate
know,
movies, but
I
also I,
can't watch
hate the
the shows.
celebrity. Yeah, the
Well,
celebrities.
that's
they're
the
like,
thing yeah.
like,
Did you
shut
see?
up.
Did you see Will Smith went and slapped Chris Rock while he was
Yeah.
doing like his stand up or whatever?
I have heard that, yes, in the subsequent days.
It's like,
I'm a little over that.
Yeah.
I mean, we got to talk about it, but it's so
Yeah,
annoying.
I got to work and I was telling myself, I wonder how long it's going to be before someone notices. And I'm not even kidding you. The first human I saw when I walked through the door was fast walking to me to get to something else. And she goes, "Did you see what happened at the Oscars last night?"
Yeah,
And
also,
I was like, I don't want to be
also,
here. Who cares?
I don't care anything about the Oscars or what happened, or they're so out of touch with reality, man. It's just like
Oh
I
yeah.
can't watch those shows. Like
They're-
Nicole Kidman's just like
They always
she's
talk
like-
about the ratings are like garbage on those, and everyone's like, "How can we make it more interesting?" Be like, I don't know, be self-aware a little bit. And it's like,
Yeah.
probably the
I don't
first
know,
step. in
not
that
just
process.
show off rich people walking
Yeah.
down a red carpet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So weird to me. It's very
Well,
odd.
what I heard on another podcast, Bill Simmons podcast, that one guy had an idea that they should take all the best picture nominees and they should throughout the show tell you who's
Yeah.
out.
Eliminate one by
credit-
one.
Yeah, one by one, so that you're left with like, I don't know, 2 or 3 at the very end, so that you want to
Mhm.
watch it.
Yeah.
I thought that was a really good idea. That would still not get me to watch, but
Still not.
Yeah. If Twitter wasn't around, there's no way I would have known this happened because it's not.
Yeah, I
like
wouldn't
a-
either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was all over Twitter, and I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense.
so Judd Apatow here. I'm going to bring up Judd Apatow this week because I think Judd Apatow. So the best part of stuff like this is the reaction to it and how other celebrities will then react to it in a way that's so extra.
I like Judd though. So he probably didn't act, did he act extra? Just no way.
This is what Judd Apatow said.
Oh,
No way. No way.
He could have killed him. Now, I wanted to ask the 2 physicians on this podcast. With these, I don't think we can play the slap on, or could we play it on YouTube and broadcast?
I don't know.
Probably not.
Probably
Here we
not.
go. Judd Apatow on Twitter. He could have killed him. That's pure out of control rage. Now he's right about like getting made fun of and whatever, and he lost his mind. But what do you guys think the odds are that Chris Rock would have died on stage after getting slapped in the face?
100%. I thought he almost died actually on Sunday.
And
There's-
here's so theoretically,
You
A
still like Judd Apatow?
no. I used to like him.
I'm out.
He's making me not like him. I like him because he's a comedian. He's funny and he makes.
I'm
good
tilting.
stuff.
I'm
Yeah,
tilting right
tilting.
again. I'm
They're
tilting right.
forcing me out of here. Could he have killed him? The short answer is with a slap, almost impossible. However, if he
There
were to
is
slap
a
him,
world.
if he slapped him hard enough and it knocked him out and he fell to the ground and hit his head and caused a brain bleed, he could have killed him.
Yeah.
He would have to be like completely unconscious on the way down to hit the ground, probably,
Yes,
right?
correct.
And
Yeah,
hit
like
his head a certain way,
A really hard slap to like knock. Like there are people that get knocked out from slaps, but like
right?
probably not
He-
going to die from that.
like,
Like
he-
slapping you.
not from the slap itself, but a result of the slap, like him hitting his head or something like that. Because you see that all the time in like street fights or something. They get knocked out and then they just collapse, hit their head, get a
Yeah,
brain
yeah.
bleed, and die, or at least
Right.
brain
like
dead
it-
the rest of their life.
In Russia, they do that like slap, like
Slap contest, dude.
yeah, the
those things are
slap con-
brutal.
Yeah, those things are insane. Some of those people
Yeah,
get knocked
it's
out.
guys with like tattooed corneas and stuff like that, like
Yeah,
slapping
yeah.
each other.
Yeah.
Oh
Just go,
my god.
I feel like if you're
Yeah.
tattooing your cornea, that's about the only route you got going for you.
What are the
Yeah.
rules on the slap thing, by the way? Because
That's
are
the
they
open
are
hand.
they yeah, but are they allowed to like move their waist, or does it have to be like? I always wonder that.
They're holding something like you do with traditional arm wrestling. You have to
Yeah,
have
but
your
you-
other hand on it.
You just do a pure golf swing like while you
And-
do it.
Yeah.
From what I can tell, it looks like your feet have to be planted and can't move, and your other hand has to be holding this little brace, and then
Yeah.
you just rotate. It's just thoracic spinal rotation.
I mean, some of those dudes hit.
It's like golf.
so hard.
That's
Yeah,
what I'm
it's a golf
saying.
swing.
So it's
They're
basically a
open-
golf swing
open
to the
ball.
face, open hand. That
They have
could
a
knock
bag
you
of
out.
clubs, and they hit putts and drives onto
that's,
some other guy's face.
That's
That's
interesting.
exactly what happens.
Yeah. So I
Uh,
don't know. What do you think though? Do you think so? My whole takeaway from the slap heard around the world.
Is
Was-
I hate everyone, but then
Yeah. Well, I hate the Oscars even more than I already did. But also, that's the whole thing with comedy, right? Like it's supposed to be a joke, and there have been plenty of comedians who tell far worse jokes. So I don't know. Maybe it was just a sore subject for him talking about his wife then. Because I mean,
No.
that's not the first time he's had his wife talking about being in the public eye like he is.
Yeah, seriously. I mean, I gotta be honest. Everyone's like, she's suffered with alopecia and I'm sure it's a hard struggle and it's very difficult. But I don't think it's on Chris Rock to like keep it. David Spade said this. He's like, I don't have a script of everyone's medical conditions in the audience when they ask me to do this thing. He's like,
Right.
how am I supposed to know like what you're doing?
Was he the host or just a
I-
presenter?
It's just a presenter, I think.
Do they have a host?
No,
anymore?
no. Chris Rock was the host.
I thought.
Oh
Amy
no,
Schumer
you're right.
was.
You're right. He
Yeah.
was just a presenter.
Yeah, he's just presenting.
There's Amy Schumer and like Wanda Sykes and
Yeah.
someone else were
Yeah,
the,
there's
were
a
the
third
hosts.
one. Yeah.
Which is crazy because literally nobody is talking about anything else like from the host
yeah.
the entire show.
You would think that Chris
Yeah.
Rock hosted it, but it's
And we're all huge Amy Schumer fans.
Yeah, huge.
This is what the Academy said. They said the Academy does not condone violence of any form.
You know,
Well,
if they did,
Other
if
than
they-
giving the Best Actor award to the guy who punched the other guy
Yeah.
later in the show.
but we don't do no violence. Also, I don't need a statement from the Academy
The
to
Academy.
say like, what does this do? Like, this is so BS here. Like,
I mean,
oh,
who are you?
as the Academy, we put out this statement that we don't condone violence. Oh, so happy
Yeah.
you did that.
I was
No.
actually.
everything.
I thought they
No,
were going
this
to start
is-
the next UFC if they didn't put that announcement out. So weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm
Look
like,
at okay, this guy DSP the Undying. Based on what happened at the Oscars, I would be terrified to be a comic in any medium. So this is what's going to happen now. Okay, comedians, you're within the next week or two, you're going to find comedian cuts on podcasts where they're like, you know what, like being a comedian is like the most dangerous job in the world now, and they're going to
Yeah.
liken it to like being in danger all the time.
Yeah,
and
they're like,
stuff.
we're basically fighting in Ukraine at this moment.
but
like,
it's always been that
you're
way.
on stage making people laugh.
Just wait for it. Just wait
Yeah,
for it.
oh, yeah.
Dude,
It's
you
always
guys,
been
you
that
guys
way.
don't know about this job. Like this, like how dangerous. Like somebody can just come up on stage and just attack you at any point.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but they're that's very true, but they're taking that risk, like they're the ones calling out some random guy's wife in the audience and like making fun of her and stuff. Like that's the risk they're taking.
Tell better jokes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Tell better.
Also,
jokes.
We should ask
Nobody's
Donnie
talking about
this.
how awesome of a movie G.I. Jane was. Do you guys remember that movie?
I don't.
No.
I don't think Mom let me watch it because
Oh.
Demi Moore was too sexy for my eyes when I was like 8 years old.
Okay, first G.I. Jane was
Yeah, that
so- I
wasn't
must have
directed by
watched-
Michael.
Is that is it a new one?
Well, no,
No,
it
it's
came out in
old.
'97.
97.
Yeah, so
What
me
the hell
and,
is
me
it?
and my buddies watched this on VHS probably 30 times back when Blockbuster was a thing.
Viggo Mortensen was in it.
Yeah, he was like the bad guy ish type dude because he was like the Navy
look at
SEAL
it.
instructor.
G.I. Jane 2, Jada Smith joke explained. Dude, I love how people have YouTube reaction videos explaining the joke.
I know.
But wait, why is that bad? What? Wait, so this was already a movie because I didn't really get it either because I didn't know the movie.
Yeah,
I know you didn't, which is why I had to bring this up and clarify everything.
So why is it a bad thing though? Because
Because
Is it-
Demi Moore has a shaved head in the movie. There's a scene where she shaves her head, and it's done in real time, and it's all real in one shot and all that. And Jada Pinkett Smith, as you see right here,
has a shaved head.
has a shaved head. What's being said is that she has alopecia, and that's why she shaved her head. But Chris Rock referenced G.I. Jane, like she's gonna film G.I. Jane too.
Oh man, he was like making fun of her rather than. I mean,
I think it was just like a side comment about he was like kind of
I
random.
feel like she'd be good in that role though.
Yeah,
You know?
she probably
That's,
would.
that's
be.
what I'm saying. So like, it's kind of like a compliment.
I mean,
But I see what he means. But it's still kind of like not that much of a. It's kind of a compliment.
yeah,
Yeah.
Be like, hey, you'd be
You're-
as good as this movie was.
yeah. Isn't there a scene in there where Demi Moore does like a pull up and it's like the most aggressive fight for
Oh,
a
yeah.
pull up of all
Yeah,
time?
it's like every rep at a CrossFit gym.
Yeah.
It's CrossFit before CrossFit.
It's like
She's
way
like,
over the top. Yeah.
One.
Dude, how much do you love when they do they'll pan across a bunch of people doing CrossFit pull ups and it's like
Yeah.
0, 0, 0, 0.
Oh, those are the best.
yeah.
Those aggressive reps?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The kipping ones that are like way over the top. They're like, I did
No,
500.
butterfly.
Yeah, butterfly. There you go.
They do this on the bar.
They're like, how many pull ups can you do? They're like, I don't know, 50. And it's like, okay. So,
Yeah, okay.
you can't.
yeah, shut up.
It's like if you want to say you can do a certain amount of pull-ups, that's fine, but just clarify the form you're using.
Yeah. Don't make me
Yeah.
think you're like Superman doing pull-ups. And you're like, I did
Yeah.
120 straight unbroken pull-ups. Like, no, you didn't. Like,
No, you
Strict.
didn't.
You're-
Gymnasts can't. I don't think Olympic gymnasts can do 100 strict pull-ups, can they?
Probably not.
Maybe.
That's so many strict pull-ups that
Yeah.
I like.
That's insane.
That's like chimpanzee type stuff. Like, I don't
mean,
think a human is capable of doing that.
there are some gymnasts though that are like freakish.
yeah.
I mean, they're insane. Like those.
But we're
Olympic
talking about
ones.
strict pull-up. That's like a very hard movement to do 100 times in a row.
I bet they could get
Yeah.
to 50 pretty.
I
Pretty
could see
comfortably.
50 because I knew some of the gymnasts like in high school. Remember when we were in like high school and stuff, we would do do we do PE in high school? I think so.
No,
What did we do?
No. it was just middle school and then it stopped.
Yeah.
I remember all the female gymnasts, they were so strong in like middle school compared to the guys.
or like
they
the
would- they
acrobatic
would just-
cheerleaders and stuff.
Yeah, they would just
Yeah.
crank out pull-ups. And I'd be
Yeah.
like,
Right.
what?
Yeah. It's always
Okay. How much? I looked it up and I have the answer.
What?
How many
What do you guys think
strict-
the official Guinness World Record strict pull-ups is?
I've seen people on like, isn't it like some absurd number?
I'm gonna say 85.
I mean, yes,
Isn't it like closer to 4 digits?
it's not 4 digits. You think
1 million pull-ups?
it's 900 plus pull-ups?
Yes.
No.
Wait, maybe-
900 strict pull-ups? Not in Herschel Walker's biggest schizoid dream
But
could he
I'm
do
sure-
that.
Wait, how much? What was the final thing? Sorry, Andriana came in and interrupted.
Yeah.
What tell Andriana to come over?
She's making a smoothie
Ladies,
for me.
Ooh, make me one. Andrea, will
A
you make a
smoothie?
smoothie this weekend for us?
A smoothie with lots
Probably.
of vowels in it.
Dallas. I think I'm referencing like David Goggins did the like most pull-ups in like
Hey,
whatever.
what was
time
the
frame.
answer? I
The
didn't
answer
hear
is
the
50. 50.
Oh, so yeah, that's what I thought.
From
I was
this
like,
guy right here. He's a Marine, obviously. America. But
Is
this
it-
guy did.
That's in like
that
a
guy
minute
is
though.
crushing.
He's got 234. What are you talking about? 50.
Oh, this was
Jim, it says
230 and 34
238.
minutes.
I think that's a little more than 50, 80,
Well, this
whatever
is
you.
Oh, hold on. This is
Yeah, 50. I know.
no. This is right here. The current official Guinness World Record is Michael Eckert, a
Strict.
U.S. Marine.
Strict pull-ups.
50 strict pull-ups at an army base in Japan.
And that's not in like 1 minute span.
No, because they do stuff where it's like most pull-ups in 1 minute, and like most strict pull-ups in a row unbroken, stuff like
Yeah,
that.
so this is most pull-ups in one Guinness World Record. Okay.
Most pull-ups in 1 minute, Guinness World Record. I mean,
Okay, that's. I don't think we need to watch him just do pull-ups.
let's
Just
do
go
it.
to like towards the end. Yeah.
His arms look short.
Yeah. So
but
the key to this is just range of motion. Like his range of motion is like 3 inches. He's got his arms wide apart. His arms are short in general.
Yeah.
He's short.
I mean,
His chin is higher than like a nursing baby.
this guy has a smoothie coming delivered to him. Yeah, must be nice.
There you go. That's how you do 50 pull-ups or whatever in 1 minute.
Okay. I was about to say it has to be more than 50 because I remember being like 18, 19 and doing like 20 pull-ups, like unbroken strict. and
No,
stuff
you
like that.
didn't.
I swear to God.
You did 18 pull-ups strict.
Yeah. I
No.
only weighed like 150 something pounds, and it's like you're swimming at the time and stuff. It's not that like it wasn't that big.
I think the most pull-ups I ever did was like 24, but they weren't like strict. It was like I was definitely like,
Oh yeah, I'm sure I was like kicking up at towards the end.
I tipped into the 30s once, but I never went for like a strict max
Yeah.
out.
I could do I could do butterflies for a good 20 to 30, but that's because it's like you're just spinning around up there.
I used to be
Yeah.
pretty decent. I did do pretty decently with was that English? I was pretty decently. I was pretty decent at doing
don't think so.
pull-ups for a while there, and then now it like my shoulders are so messed up from swimming. Doing pull-ups like that just kills my shoulders.
Yeah. I'm just too fat. That's mostly what it boils down to.
Right.
That's what
I
it
just
boils
feel-
down
I just-
to.
I just feel my labrum just grinding each time, and it just doesn't feel comfortable.
Yeah.
Just not ideal.
This is what I tell every gym coach I've ever had. I'm like, yeah, if I just lose some fat and gain some muscle, I'll probably do better.
I was telling Steve that actually. I was like, I want to get better at pull-ups just for the sake of like, it's embarrassing only being able to do like 5. I was like, it's weird when you get fat and then lose your muscle mass. It's like you can't do as many pull-ups as you used to be able to do.
I felt so
weird combo.
garbage today. It's so garbage today at the gym because my gym is annoying today because we have to sign up for classes well in advance, because they fill up pretty quickly. So we signed up for like 4 classes this week because we're going.
That's so annoying with a popular gym. It's like not that big.
Yeah. It's like because they can only have like 24-ish people per class. And obviously the 6 a.m. and 7 a.m. is like most popular, 5 a.m. So everybody goes before work. So we signed up for it. And then a week later, we signed up 2 weeks ahead of time. That's when you can sign up. So we
2
made sure
weeks.
we made sure we get them. And then a week goes by. We come back.
That tells you everything you need to know about Michael's schedule right there.
What? Well, what do you mean my schedule? It's the same.
You reserve at the same time. You reserve going to the gym 2 weeks in advance.
Yeah, because I go to work at the same time.
I could never do that.
How?
But go ahead, finish your story.
How is that? You have the exact same thing every day too.
No, I don't.
Oh God. What does B wake up 5 minutes earlier?
Yeah,
some days.
Go finish your story. I don't want to interrupt it. Finish your story.
So we had to plan these classes ahead of time, and then I can't even with this guy. So we plan it, and John and I had the classes all set up, and then a week goes by, and when like the new week is coming up, and we checked our schedule, and we're not in any classes. We're like, okay. So we text them. They're like, oh yeah, we updated our system and it kicked everybody out.
Maybe a heads up would have been nice.
I was like, so now I'm 15th on the wait list to get in the morning. God. She's like, don't worry, we'll try to get you in. I'm like, try to get me in. Why can't you just put me back in?
Yeah, or give a heads up to the people that
we'll let you. Yeah, she's like, we'll let you know the night before. I'm like, okay. So the night before,
how many people are at this gym?
I mean, those classes are popular in the morning, though.
Yeah, I guess so.
And this morning we still weren't in. We went to the 7 a.m. one, and at 6 a.m. we still weren't in. And I was like, well, this is annoying. 6:30 still wasn't in. And I was like, okay, well, I guess we're not getting in. And then all of a sudden, 6:40 we got in, and I'm like, I'm sitting here. I'm like, I have to be on call to go to the gym now too. I'm already on call my whole life over here. In the hospital.
There's nothing worse than that, being like, oh God, now I got to sprint out. I was ready to just have my coffee and relax.
I didn't have coffee. We like having coffee before we go so we can wake up and get a good workout in. Didn't have coffee, sprinted over to the gym, did awful. And of course, it was one of those days where they just do a 6-minute run on the steel mill. I'm like, oh,
that's the worst when you don't want to be there and it's some awful thing like that. And you're like,
I was like, God. And I was so tired. And I just felt like crap because, Andriana crushed it. But for some reason, this is going to sound so stupid, by the way. And maybe only Tommy will get this and Jim will make fun of us for this. Right. But so this weekend, I did 2 16-hour diagnostic call shifts in a row, right? It's exhausting. 7 a.m. to 11 p.m. Saturday and Sunday.
Jim over here, he gets one console. It's like, I couldn't possibly. That is a brutal one console.
So that's 32 hours of just constantly reading images, right?
There's not a single break in there. It's like if I go to the bathroom, I just create more time for myself in the bathroom.
Correct.
Yeah.
So it starts slowing down around 9 p.m. or so, 8 p.m. sometimes. But the point of that is, and then Monday I'm exhausted, right? Because I'm recovering from the weekend, and then but the weird thing is my legs are sore.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's because I'm getting old. I don't know what, but these shifts take it out of me.
Because your steps you're getting?
Oh, 5.
Negative.
Yeah.
Oh,
I literally. So when I was on call, we have our night person comes in because I was on call a couple weeks ago. The girl I was working with, she was like, "Yeah, my husband always jokes. He's like, he'll check my counter on these call shifts or night shifts and stuff. You'll literally have 250 steps in the day, and you're it's to walk to the car, to and from the car, get up to go to the bathroom a couple times, and that's it. And it's the most unhealthy thing ever.
But it's
your
crazy
hamstrings are so tight.
because it's a mental strain, right? Because you're like constantly you're exhausted mentally, but it like fatigues your whole body. It's so weird, and you can only a radiologist would understand it, or someone who does like mental work like that. I don't know. It's hard. It's not physical, but the demands that you place mentally on your body almost like manifest physically because you're just exhausted. So, and it sounds crazy. I know Jim's like probably shaking his head.
I know.
I feel like I'm listening to the Academy.
Yeah. It sounds crazy, but like your body gets exhausted from those shifts. And they did, and maybe as I get older, they get more exhausted. But anyways, the point of that was then today, like I had to rush to class. We barely got in, had a 6-minute run on the steel mill. And I'm like, and like my coach came over because I was like walking after like 3 minutes for a second just to take a break. He's like, "What you doing?" I'm like, "Man," I was like, "I get so bored on these 6-minute runs." Plus, it was like so hard for me to run for some reason. And I was
Michael,
like,
I found a picture of you. They actually,
oh,
the
here we
guy
go.
I know
Yeah,
him. There's
Sure.
a picture of you at the gym today when you finished.
See, that was me. That was after I got off the treadmill right there.
Yeah.
This is you. You're like, look, sometimes you just got to do radiology and workout.
Or
he's so shredded.
maybe I could recover faster.
He's so jacked.
Maybe I could recover faster if I did HGH.
Yeah. You feel great if you did that. Those hands
you,
are like meat cleavers. Jesus.
I know. Did you squat, Michael?
No squats today.
Oh, okay.
It was pure cardio. Well, on Thursday and Friday we did, but today was pure cardio.
Do you,
there's no weights at all.
When you squat, do you hit depth? Do you go 90 degrees?
I try to, yeah.
What keeps you from doing that? Your height?
No. Tiredness.
God.
Do you do first of all, if I watch Michael do quarter squats for a workout, I would lose my mind.
Oh, I couldn't be in the same room.
Sell your car. Jim, I have a question. What do you hate more? What do you hate more? Do you hate watching people who can't swim try to swim, or people doing quarter squats more?
The quarter squats. It's not even close.
What about someone who jumps in the pool holding their nose?
Oof, that's a rough one.
I do hate that. And I almost instantly broke up with my ex when I saw her do that. And I actually said, never do that again. I said, what are you, a child?
Never jump in the water like that again.
She comes above
Jumps
water and Jim's just gone.
I'm not asking you to, break records in the NCAA 50 free here. I'm just saying, jump in the water and don't hold your nose with your hand. That's it.
Blow out.
That's it.
Just blow out.
I
That's all
saw
I need.
this.
That's it.
This Instagram video. The like travel Instagrammers or whatever they post on
But quarter
Instagram.
squatting is an atrocity.
Yeah.
But this travel guy, he was like in this exotic place, probably like Seychelles or something like that. And he's like running in, doing the stupid film that like all those travel influencers do, which I'm so over that stuff.
The same shot over.
Yeah, they're just like,
over and
like the girl like walks back and it's like,
yeah.
Okay, enough.
Yeah.
Like they're holding hands.
Yeah, like
how many
right,
times
right.
it's just a tracking shot behind whoever the girl is.
Yeah,
and it's
like,
like
how
up
many
to a
times did you-
cliff or something.
how many times you film this, like whatever. Anyway, so he gets to the end of the like his layout of his hotel room, whatever, and it's beautiful on the beach. And they have a pool, and then he like goes and dives in the pool, and he like holds his nose and dives in.
Oh,
Oh my God.
The comments of that video were just
Really?
annihilating him.
rightfully so.
Good. They should.
They're like,
Yeah.
bro, they're like, film somebody that can actually jump in the pool.
Oh my God.
So bad.
That's hilarious.
So
I would
bad.
instantaneously unsubscribe to his,
know,
his channel.
I gotta say, swimming. So to give everybody a background here, Michael's obviously by far and away the most accomplished swimmer of the three of us, but we all swam competitively all through high school, like all the way through high school, like year round. That's all we did up until me and Tommy graduated college, and then Michael did it in college.
It was our life.
And
Yeah.
swimming
For like 15
swimming has
years.
got to be the most hierarchical and judgmental sport within itself that I've
Oh,
ever
yeah.
seen or heard of, because you can't argue with somebody about whether or not you're good or you're better or worse. There's no argument. Like you
Yeah.
literally have an objective time down to the 100th of a second to tell whether or not you can beat somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's an instantly a hierarchy that comes from that, and it's like you're either here or you're not.
Yeah.
And until you're here, Like whatever you say, if you get out of line, if you say something that's a little bit cocky, you're going to be shot down by everybody that's on top of you. And the only person that can talk shit is the person sitting that's number one in whatever group you're in.
That's very true. Yeah.
And everybody is just looking up at the pyramid until they reach the number one, or until that kid ages out of your age group and then you're the number one. And that's when it really gets interesting.
Yeah, I mean, that's what it is. You can't,
then
you're going
to be, yeah, you can be Prince Joffrey at the age of 14.
Joffrey. Even I get that reference.
And then just start having like complete power trips in your 13, 14 age group.
So dramatic.
I mean, there's nothing
beheading all the slower swimmers below you in your age group.
Yeah, I remember like you would call like when you would hear about somebody like either joining the team or in like the you know, I don't know, maybe a different part of the region, like the state next to you. You'd be like, "Is he fast?"
Yeah,
like, "Is he fast?" That was always the question.
We always
like, "Who is this kid? Is he fast?"
We said in high school there'd be guys that would like join our team from other teams and stuff like they would just move around. It's like nothing was worse than if they were faster than you, and you're like, "Gosh, one more guy."
I know. There's nothing worse than somebody discovering somebody that you can't beat.
Yeah.
Then you move down.
Yeah. You're like, "Sweet,
you're down the rank."
Yeah. Great. I thought I had an established position.
It is quite objective.
Michael, talk about how when you went from being like hot shit in high school and then you get to college and you're just getting literally murdered by everybody nonstop the second you get there.
I mean, I wasn't getting murdered in college.
Yes, you. Well, I mean, you might have to edit this, but like you would tell stories about how you would get to UGA and be like, "I can't do this. Like, I literally cannot."
Like
so that's the whole thing. So that just goes back to what we were talking about the other day with the training and stuff, because nowadays swimming has evolved. You know, I was swimming in 2007 was my last year.
It is way too fast now.
Yeah, but it's just evolved because when I was training, it was so antiquated. The mindset was just, you have to come in here, you have to swim 10,000+ yards twice a day. We need to push you and beat you to the ground. But like, that's not how you get better. And that's not how I train. And it took me 3 years to convince them that that's not how I train. And Cameron was the same way. Like guys should not be training the same way, you know, a long distance female sprinter is training. Like you just can't train. You can't lump everybody together.
Yeah.
Everybody's body types are different. Everybody trains differently. Everybody develops lactic acid differently. You know, like we have different body types and different training schedules.
You would literally have practice. Like you would do like morning and evening practices. And it's like 18,000 yards of swimming over like the span of 6 hours. And you're like, I swim for 19 seconds. Why do I need to
plus
like, why do I need to swim this much?
We would do a 5 a.m. practice until we went to classes from 7 to 8 or 7 to, we did 5 a.m. and we were done at like 6:37. And then we would go to classes from 8 to 12. 12, we would do lifting for an hour midday.
Quarter squats.
Quarter squats. When I look back, we actually had a pretty good training program, but we should have done more of that but everybody here's the problem with swimming is because we're doing so much yardage every single day, people would kind of coast through the lifting exercises because that will kill you in the swimming pool.
Yeah.
But anytime you do aggressive lifts, like we were doing clean and jerks and stuff, that beats you down and you're so sore you can't swim. So people would rather swim because they feel like I want to perform better in practice. So if you worked really hard in the weight room, which is what a lot of the guys would do.
Well, there's that Olympian. He's like, he made it in a bunch of races. He swam a bunch of things past summer, and he's like notorious. No, there's another guy who's like notorious for. He's been like his dad's trained him for years in like a backyard pool, which I don't know, it's kind of weird, but he's like notorious for swimming only like 1,500 yards a day.
Oh, I know who you're talking about. I don't know his name though.
Yeah, I don't know his name, but he made like 4 or 5 events at the Olympics. And of course, like the prevailing thought of swimming, it's like, oh, you can't just do that. And like he would swim the 200 IM and die at the end. And everyone's like, look at this guy. And it's like, oh, by the way, he's got 5th at the Olympics. So it seems like it probably worked pretty well. Like, I don't know, call me crazy.
So that was what you're referring to circle back, Jim, is you're like, I don't know if I can do it here. I was just kind of annoyed because no one would nothing I would mention to them. I'm like, guys, I need my rest. If you want me to perform, I need my rest. Like that's it. You know, I just want, like, that's it. Just, I can't just be doing yardage every day. No one will listen to me. No one will listen to me. And I finally made my point the first year at SEC championships, where they put me at, because they were like, oh, he's slow because he goes slow in practice every day. I'm not a good practicer. I've never been a good at practice. And I did really well at SECs, and I was exhibition. I would have placed in the events that I swam, and then my coach was pissed off because he didn't put me in the events. And I was like, I told you. But I also do stuff out of spite like that.
You don't say.
Yeah.
Real quick, what do
Was I
you
talking
think is the national record for the men's 50-yard freestyle? To give people listening,
I already
to
know
this,
what it is.
To give people listening to this an idea of, to take your standard 25-yard pool, go down and back. What do you think the record is?
Isn't it like 17?
17.87.
It's 17.63 by
Oh,
Caleb
6.
Dressel in 2018.
Jesus.
Yeah.
So fast.
17.6 seconds down and back. Try it.
No one-
Just
no-
anybody
no
listening to
one-
this, just go try it.
No one's even been in the under 18 since then.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Because even this
Yeah,
year, I was looking at the results from NCAA's,
the
and they were
winning
it's
time
like
this year was
18-0.
18.5.
Yeah, I remember when someone broke 19, everyone was like, "Oh my
I
god!"
know.
Now it's like the entire heat goes under.
Yeah,
19.
now it's just insane. Jim's back.
Ooh,
God, man, that was
I
a
just had
fast
the
one.
sweatshirt off for that one.
Jim's back. He had to take a little bathroom break.
And we're back.
All right, so I was talking about
Medical
how-
emergency.
I was talking about swimming. We never finished my damn thought because you kept interrupting me every 5 seconds.
Call the med student with a pan to room 4.
So,
A med student.
What are we talking about, Michael?
I was talking about my swimming stuff.
Let's
I
keep
was saying-
talking.
Let me finish my thought because that's what I was doing before you interrupted me with your bathroom break. Basically, what I was saying is it used to be things have changed substantially in the world of swimming because the swimming conditioning part is like catered towards each individual athlete now in each individual event, which has been like crazy in terms of performance for some of these kids these days. And it didn't used to be that way. You know, the same reason Dad used to tell us when he was playing football out in the heat, they used to say drinking water made them weak. It's the same thing.
So stupid.
Dude,
This,
take salt tablets.
Yeah.
God, he'd be like, "No, we
Water.
weren't allowed water in the 90-degree heat because it makes us look weak."
Yeah.
Now
It's
they
like
take
this- they have
they
their
take
kids
wa-
die, and their parents are like, I guess he just wasn't strong enough back then. The
But
50s.
meanwhile, now they take like water breaks for the World Cup and stuff now.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, So that was my story before I got interrupted. But let's move on to something different. Jim,
Okay.
are you ready for this?
Sure. Yeah.
What do you all think of RaDonda Vaught? Or did you even look into it at all?
Oh yeah. I came across this. A lot of the nurses I follow, I know from back in the day.
I have no
working
idea
with-
what this
Did you
is.
hear it?
Oh, you didn't hear about it?
Nope.
But it basically, tell me if I'm wrong, but there's is RaDonda, right?
Yeah,
Vaught?
RaDonda
She
Vaught.
was a nurse that basically pulled vecuronium, right? Something like that. She pulled the wrong med, and it was a paralytic that's used for like anesthesia, basically when they intubate. And she gave the paralytic to the patient, and the patient died. But she like went through multiple different outlets, like I guess like we use a Pyxis, but it's like pulling out the medication. There's a bunch of stops being like, "Are you sure this is the medication you want?" And she went through like multiple different steps and kind of broke through. And then finally, she just forced her way in there and then gave the wrong med. Patient subsequently died after that. And she got charged for like homicide or something like that.
Yeah,
What?
negligent homicide.
Negligent homicide.
Is she going to jail?
Yes.
I assume so. Yeah.
She's
didn't
like,
see
Lady's
what
already
the-
been, she's been sentenced.
she was sentenced 3 to 6 years
Yeah.
in jail.
Oh my! For making a mistake.
So
Yeah.
so basically what happened is like Tommy has said,
That's
there was a
terrible.
patient was going who had a massive brain bleed or whatnot, was going for an MRI, and they pulled out she was trying to pull out Versed to sedate the
right, yeah.
patient to give anxiety medicine. For those of you who don't know, prior to getting MRI, we use it for a number of different procedures and imaging modalities before getting them. she couldn't find the medication Versed, so she typed in VE, and she clicked on Veratonium, which is similar sounding but not really. She pulled the Veratonium and override the system. She overrode the system or whatever, and which apparently you can do in those Pyxis systems. I don't know. I've never gotten a medication out ever in my life, so I don't know. But apparently,
because we don't have access to them.
Yeah, we don't have access as physicians. We don't have access to the Pyxis system. I think anesthesia does, but not every other physician.
But like the rest of us, we're not allowed.
What's it called? The Pyxis system?
Yeah, it's like a big electronic chest with all the medications in that they're locked in, and you have to
like the vending machine from Five Guys.
Yeah.
You have to scan your badge, type in your code or whatever, get the medication, scan it in. I think sometimes you have to have like another person come scan as well.
All like narcotics and stuff. You have to have two.
Yeah,
people.
all narcotics, any sort of stuff like that. And then you can get access to it. So it marks your time, how much you took out, who took it out, everything. But she like had some override because she couldn't find the Versed medication. She ended up getting the Veratonium, which is a powder form, not a liquid form. So, I mean, I'm not saying she didn't do anything wrong because she did do a lot of things wrong here, but we'll get to the point at the end. But she had the powder medication of Veratonium, which is a paralytic, which they use for inducing anesthesia, put an ET tube in, paralyze the whole body. She didn't get the Versed. She's like, she never realized like, oh, this is a powder. I don't usually give powder form. So she mixed the powder medication.
How'd she even? I don't even know how to do it.
Still didn't even check, and then just injected it. So there were multiple checkpoints along the way that were completely, bypassed. So, and ultimately, you give Veratonium to someone, you're not intubating, it can kill them.
Yeah, you paralyze their diaphragm, and then that is the end of that.
And so, what was the drug she was supposed to give?
Versed.
Midazolam.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And
so VER.
See, this is why you guys should just call it by the generic names.
So that's another thing. So this is that's like one of the things a lot of people are bringing up is. So
first of all, I don't know what the hell you guys are ever talking about because everything's a brand name with these drugs.
But that's weird though, because in med school we only ever learn generic names,
and
you should.
Yeah, because that's what it is. And then in the real world, no one uses the generic name.
Never. Yeah.
So you have to learn 2 names for every single drug. For one, I mean, that's just one of the many.
Because there's that like 2-year stretch in med school where you're like, what am I doing? And they're like, oh, that. You're like, oh, okay, I know what that is.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't know that was the brand name. Yeah. It's
That's
kind of crazy. Yeah. Like, I don't know. It's kind of a weird that she did make multiple mistakes along the way and was very negligent. I don't know if like, it's a weird thing. It's like, do I think she deserves to go to prison for 6 years? Like, probably not. Like, medicine's very difficult. There's a lot of things going on all the time that makes it very confusing,
especially for nurses and in the current pandemic and in the current shortage.
Like,
there's a lot of stuff going on.
There are millions of moving parts for them just to pull out a medication and like give it to them. And there's 5 different patients, all families, like doctors, orders, epic. Like, it is very easy to make a mistake. I was like, do we try to limit like the entire process of like quality assurance and quality improvement is like set up to make sure these mistakes don't happen? And we have like review processes. So it's like the mistakes happen and things slip through the cracks. It's what's that like that Swiss cheese model we learned for boards where it's like if the holes line up appropriately, some things just fall through and it's a problem.
It happens pretty frequently in medicine. Medical errors happen probably daily in every hospital. Each hospital, they just
humans
happens.
Make errors. That's
the problem is the problem with this case is now healthcare workers, this is a terrible precedent to state because now you have the opportunity to be criminally processed and go to jail for making a medical mistake in the hospital, and that's never happened.
That's the scary part. It's like opens Pandora's box of being like, if you made a mistake, because it's impossible for anyone in medicine, like physician, nurse, vet, to be 100% perfect on anything. It's like, it's just purely, it's impossible. No one can go 50 years and be like, I made 0 mistakes in the entire time.
It's human. You try to limit them, but now we're criminalizing medical errors.
Yeah. It's dangerous. Like, what if instead of malpractice, it'd be like, oh, I go to jail because it's like, oh, there's a breast cancer that like slipped through the crack or something.
Yeah.
Like, it's like,
What
it's
about
not worth it.
what about malpractice? Like, what? It's so weird. We have malpractice for a reason because errors happen, and that's to help us in those situations. But now,
Jim, donate.
forget malpractice. We just go straight to jail.
Yeah, it's
Like
kind of a
what?
weird.
It's like she was found guilty of criminally negligent homicide and impaired adult abuse.
Yeah, they're just trying to charge her with everything. She's
Also-
kind of being the scapegoat for all this.
Yeah, that does suck for her. I feel bad.
So they reduced it to the lesser charge of negligent homicide from reckless homicide. She
Right.
faces sentencing with a possibility of a lengthy jail sentence. So she hasn't been sentenced yet.
What
right.
was this dated from?
Yeah. What's the date on
that's
this?
true. March yesterday. So
Okay.
pretty up to date.
It's pretty up to date.
So
the weird thing with this case
this
was,
sounds, you know what? Can I just say one thing real quick?
yeah.
This sounds like the administration is leaving the scene all at once and
Yeah.
nobody wants to have any sort of liability here.
That's exactly right.
Okay.
You mean
So the thing is,
hospital?
Scattering.
so
Yeah,
it's
leaving
Vanderbilt
the nurse behind.
They're like, "Oh,
Vanderbilt
sucks."
Hospital. So Vanderbilt Hospital has been like this.
I mean,
That's the
hospital
other.
administrators aren't the real heroes.
Yeah.
So this is the weird thing here because Vanderbilt Hospital has been like completely MIA on the subject,
Of course they have.
and they weren't going to press charges. The family of the loved ones who died aren't pressing charges. Like they forgive Nurse Vaught, everything. Like it was fine, and then like all of a sudden, I don't know the whole story, but then all of a sudden, like the Vanderbilt prosecutor's like, yeah, we're gonna press charges now, or something. It was a really weird situation.
What?
Yeah, because this happened in
Yeah,
2017.
it was a while ago. That's such a weird.
It's a weird thing.
So the nurse acknowledged selecting the wrong drug, but there was no system in place to double check or limit dispensing of bicuronium bromide.
Which
See,
is a
that-
huge issue. The other
that
issue is
falls-
why is there vecuronium in a normal
Pyxis?
Pyxis? Like I guess maybe anesthesia
then the
uses it for
patient,
MRI.
Like if you're in ICU, I suppose. Yeah.
And Vaught was railroaded. Prosecutors went out of their way to maliciously characterizing her, confining their arguments to details surrounding the event when the nurse made the film.
See, this is actually my biggest pet peeve. Is when
This
people,
is terrible.
Yeah,
when people
terrible.
outside of medicine start to judge what happens in medicine, like all these lawyers and stuff. And it's like, bro, you sit in your office and just read books all day and do absolutely nothing except cause
Michael,
people
you got to make a
problems.
video about this.
I was going to, but
Look at this.
there's so much.
However, after the medication error was discovered and the patient Murphy died, the charge nurse discouraged Vaught from documenting the mistake into the patient's chart as she had asked. Later, the hospital misled the medical examiner's office regarding the real cause of death and withheld
Oh
material
my
evidence in
God.
the case from the state.
And they just up and leave and they're like, oh, see you
Dude.
later.
Dude, this is
It's
so,
so weird.
terrible.
It's terrible,
Um,
right? When this happened, she came forward and was like, I did it. I made this mistake and shit happened. So the big thing now is like with the precedent that this basically brings about is it's setting a bad example for other nurses and healthcare workers. Like, should we just not bring up our mistakes now? Because
Yeah.
Oh, if I was a nurse at Vanderbilt, and I hope they do, that I would picket, strike, I would do everything.
Yeah.
I would say I will never working here again.
Yeah, you out of your mind?
You think I'm gonna walk around in the off chance I give a clear substance in a syringe that's the wrong drug the wrong
just
way and somebody dies?
jail
that I'm
time?
gonna go to jail
Yeah.
and go
She
through
doesn't-
not assuming she doesn't even go to jail, go through all of this legal process, which has
Yeah.
probably destroyed her life already.
Yeah.
the thing is too, is you got to think about,
Oh, it's terrible.
I mean,
can't even.
so this is malpractice, right? So
It falls under
Now-
malpractice.
So now, what if you do something that doesn't kill a patient but still has consequences? Like, are you going to be criminally tried as a criminal now for negligent homicide or what? I mean, it really sets a terrible example going forward. This is the problem. Is like, how much are you going to push healthcare workers? Like, we have a nursing shortage. You think nurses are going to be like, oh, sign me up. I can go
Yeah.
to jail if I make an accident.
You know what? I bet
The same hospital
prosecutors-
administration too is like, oh, by the way, here, have another patient that's an ICU patient. Here's
Yeah.
5 ICU patients for the nurse. And they're like, oh, but don't
Right.
make a mistake or you'll go to jail for 6 years.
Yeah.
It's like,
I
oh,
And that's
think-
on you.
yeah.
I bet these prosecutors are the type of people who are like, she needs to be held accountable because this patient died because of her.
Of course.
They're just completely ignoring all of the nuance that goes into medical decision making and the medical.
Well, they don't know.
That's what
structure in general.
It's
like, is there even a shred of evidence that she had any malicious intent whatsoever? I'm guessing not.
No, she apologized and like, I think I forgot what she came forward with it immediately, and she was like, "Oh my god, I can't sleep every night." I think like it's
she didn't try to hide it.
The family forgave her.
That's unbelievable.
And it's
good. That's good.
So it's literally just some prosecutor trying to make a point of like some trial that he wants. Yeah, for his own self.
Get their name out there.
So now every medical mistake that happens, and they will happen, and they will continue to happen because it's a human thing. Like humans make mistakes no matter how much you try. And so now we run into the problem is everything going to be possibility of being criminally processed? Like what if you do like a wrong site surgery? Now you're going to jail for it?
Yeah. Well, why did the jury find her? Like there was a jury involved here.
There wasn't much deliberation.
This is terrible. I bet this leaks into the vet world one day.
Yeah.
Probably. Yeah. It's going to. I mean, it's, but so it's a scary. It's really is scary.
I mean,
so
think
everything going forward.
You're on call, Michael, and you're reading, 100 CT scans over a weekend.
Yeah.
It's like, you mean to tell me you're going to get literally every single thing on an entire body scan of every person while you're getting crushed?
Yeah, that's the goal. But like,
yeah,
you may miss something. Like every radiologist misses something. Like it's just human nature.
It's literally impossible not to miss something over a lengthy career. It's like everyone does. Or you misinterpret something, you see it and you're like, I don't think that's important. You're like,
there's gotta be something going on here where the administration is somehow immune, illegally so, to like prosecution. And there's gotta be something behind the scenes where like, maybe I'm just being too conspiratorial, but like the administration, because this is Vanderbilt University Hospital.
Yeah.
Right.
They were probably
this isn't like some random suburb in the middle of North Texas.
Yeah. They were probably about to get rinsed with some like restrictions where it's like, what's that overriding body that comes in like, and
I guarantee you somebody in the administration knows somebody in like the DA's office or something like that. And it's the good old boy system. And they're like, don't worry, we ain't going to prosecute you. We just got to put it on that nurse.
Yeah, right. We're going to go after her.
You're safe, John.
I'll tell you what, Bob, you just go about your business. You just keep running that hospital. We're going to take care of this. Okay.
You keep putting money in my pocket, I'll keep putting money in yours.
I guarantee you. Yeah. I don't guarantee you, but I would not be surprised if that was the case.
So there's definitely something behind it from the way.
While they eat their ambrosia salad.
So that's what we keep trying. I keep reading this stuff, and then so I don't know the full details of the case, and I was going to do a full video on it, but the amount of time for me to go through this case and research it and like try to play an investigative lawyer is like too much for me to handle right now.
Oh yeah.
And, come on, man. God, it would be a great video. Like you're the type of person with an audience that needs to comment on this sort of thing.
I know I want to. That's why I wanted to bring it up on the show.
Because it's people like you
do
that
your
have
part,
an audience
Michael.
Well, I'm just saying that like you have, 200, you have 250,000 people that subscribe and will get an alert on YouTube to like learn about this and get like your thoughts about this.
Maybe I should just lock myself in a room.
You gotta take it. You just got to do a deep dive every now and then, because those are the best types of videos to get more knowledge and awareness about this.
That's true. That's a good motivational speech.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
But so enough of these I'm not paid enough videos. Give one back to the people.
I think that's why people don't care about or siding with the.
I'm not paid enough. Also, I side with RaDonda.
Well, I say this because I was watching. So there's these two Harvard lawyers who are a couple on TikTok, and they did.
Yeah.
They did like a deep dive on this, and it was like complicated and confusing to them because they were trying to piece together the whole puzzle behind, because it was so weird.
Yeah.
And I was like, I mean, if they're having issues here, what am I gonna do? We spent like 3 days doing this.
Yeah, it does have that shady thing where it's like the hospital basically just wanted a scapegoat and was like, "Oh, this nurse, she made a mistake." And
like, how can all the safe channels that have failed to lead this to happen? How can nobody be held accountable?
Yeah, right. It's like it's a responsibility of the hospital to have these in place.
We train them. We train them.
Yeah.
If they make mistakes, that's on them.
My guess is it's set up so that it's a institutional thing to where you can't directly implicate an institution.
Yeah.
Because there's no single person to point to.
Right.
So the only person to point to is the person that did the injecting of the drug as the final step.
Yeah, but that's the weird part, because usually the lawyers will go after every single person in the hospital is the one that has all the money.
Yeah.
And they will at least try to settle and, make a couple mil here and there.
Well, the lawyer's shotgun, because they're like, whoever gets caught in this net, we have a better chance of getting money off of it. And they're like, oh, let's hope so. And then
so usually they'll just
whittle them out slowly.
That's what it was weird. I forgot. It was some shadiness going on why they didn't prosecute her at first. Then all of a sudden they're like, let's circle back here and prosecute her.
Oh my God. I can't believe that.
But again, I don't know all the nuances and haven't done the deep dive.
Can you, but like,
That's why no one feels bad for hospitals.
I'm not like minimizing the tragedy that actually happened here, but
right.
Here's a huge but can you like the amount of like grief that the nurse is feeling about this and how much regret she probably feels for making this mistake. Never mind the legal stuff, but just making this sort of a mistake.
Yeah. Dude,
and knowing that you just literally just injected somebody with a drug that killed him.
You made a mistake for 5 years. I'm sure every day she probably wakes up and feels miserable about what she did.
That's what she said. She said that in the report. She was like, there's not a night that I lay awake at night and I can't sleep because I think about this every single night. I'm like, geez.
Yeah.
Now you got to criminally process her.
Mistake. It's not like she was trying to kill the person. For an honest mistake.
I knew. So when I was doing my residency, I was at, I won't say where, but I was at a major university doing like a rotation. This doesn't involve me, by the way, just to preface that. But so there's these Italian vet students who were like doing their rotations at this school. And I was there doing my thing for my residency. And one of the students was walking a dog outside, and the dog got off leash, ran into the road, and instantly got hit and killed by a car.
That's criminal homicide.
Yeah.
Negligent homicide.
It's what's the dog abuse word that I'm looking for?
Just animal abuse.
Animal abuse.
Yeah. God.
It's the word animal.
Was tripping you up there.
Jeez.
Oof.
Future physician here.
Well, I am a physician.
Future physician, he says.
Yeah, I've been a doctor for 5 years. No big deal.
Don't talk to me until the moment you're done. Until then, you're nothing. No, but she, apparently the dog got off a leash, got hit by a car, and instantly died. And I was like, there's probably some liability there.
Yeah, I mean, let's revisit. Let's open up the case. We have to criminally prosecute that person.
So, like, could you imagine doing this to that poor Italian vet student who is like, I think she's probably like 23 years old, something like that.
Yeah.
Made a mistake. Like, she's just walking a dog. Could happen to a dog walker,
right? And
a dog probably has happened to a dog walker.
100%.
A dog can shoot off a leash anytime and be like, "Bah!"
Yeah. So it's the biggest thing is just the dangerous precedent this sets going forward.
Yeah,
it's just not. It's not a good look, and it's just more demands for an already demanding field, and it's especially nurses. And it's
terrible, and you have to make a video about it.
Deal.
You have to.
I have to go through 4 years of.
It's too big of a story. Yeah. It's too big of a story for you to not talk about.
Yeah, Michael, go to law school and then do a video on this.
You don't even have to talk about the legal implications. Just talk about the
try
medical challenges and the administration. And I don't know.
And if I were your mother, you would be loved, and this mistake never happened.
Yes. Because in this time, this is about me.
Yeah. Don't forget about me.
That's true. Guys. That's true. So that's it's an interesting.
It's a horrible case.
Yeah, it is.
I didn't know.
Case all around. All around, it's a horrible case for every single party. And
a lot of my nurse friends, I saw like the million things on Instagram. I was like, "What is this?" I was like, "I've never even heard of it." I was like, "Oh, that makes sense."
Because there was the famous case 40 years ago in the 80s where the resident killed somebody because they were sleep deprived, and that's what kicked off the whole resident hour limitations or whatever.
Oh, was that really?
Was that person legally, like, did anything happen to them? Do you know?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
There have been a lot of deaths caused by every different
Oh,
type of
yeah.
healthcare worker, and no one's ever been tried for it because it's covered under malpractice. Even a negligent death covered under malpractice, but not criminally charged.
The only ones
That's
are
the
like
weird thing.
The
malicious.
criminal part of this is so strange.
Yeah, it's very strange.
Yeah.
It's like crossed over into a whole new world.
Yeah, like I mean, I don't, but I can understand sort of like the whole liability stuff and getting smacked with that. But criminal, like you're in court and a judge is telling you you're gonna be sentenced to jail for. Anyway,
I know.
Yeah.
It definitely stretches outside of the healthcare realm.
Yeah.
It's
That's
not
so
good.
crazy.
Not a good look.
You know, there's
All
like
right.
a big push. Oh, sorry. I mean, there's a big push to like reverse the resident duty hour restriction.
I think
like,
they
Oh,
did.
really?
Oh, they did? Yeah, that's right. There was like a
Well, it doesn't
huge-
exist in vet med. I can tell you that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's like this huge like push, like this small group of people are like, make them work. It's like, why do you want them to work over 100 hours a week? That makes no
That's
sense.
the problem with healthcare. And I get these kind of comments all the time from like 60-year-old physicians who are like,
Of
well,
course.
it's like, well,
They have 3
if
patients
I
in
work,
the hospital. Yeah.
if I work this hard, then you have to work this hard. Like that's how progress doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Just like that in vet med.
You're
Just
the
like that in
problem.
vet med.
You're
Hey,
limiting
old guy.
progress. You're the
Yeah.
problem. And this is why physicians are overworked and healthcare workers are overworked because of you.
Yeah.
I'll give you an example. When I was in Park City in the hot tub, there was this guy who got in the hot tub with us. He was the anesthesiologist. And he was like, he goes, I used to do things that it would take. He goes,
Was Greg there?
yeah, Greg was there.
Okay, good. Yeah.
It was all of us because we're all doctors. And he was
Yeah.
like,
You know what I picture, Tommy? I picture at the end of Blade Runner where that android is like, I've seen things that you humans would never
Exactly.
comprehend.
Yeah,
exactly what it's like.
that's
Exactly what it's like.
right.
He goes,
Off the belt of Orion or whatever.
Yeah.
he was like 65. He's still working. And he's like, I used to do things in my time, in my career that it takes 5 of you guys to do. I'm like, here we go. I'm like, oh, this
No,
is going
you
to be a good
didn't.
start. I'm like, first of all, no, you didn't. He's like, I used to do LPs with my eyes closed. I'm like, used to run over here. I'm like, he's like, I used to work so hard. I'm like,
Yeah, you know what?
cool, cool story.
Yeah, you probably made so many mistakes, and none the wiser from it.
He was like, and now all you guys
That's
don't want to work.
exactly right in the vet world. When people say that, I'm like, oh, how many dogs died? We were just like, well, we don't know what happened.
Yeah, and then they go, oh,
He's like, all you guys nowadays, that's what he kept saying is
Yeah.
all you guys want to do is just take vacation and not work and enjoy your life. I'm like, is that a bad thing?
yeah, I
What?
do.
Yeah.
I would
He's
like to
he's
enjoy
like
my life.
someone has to pull the weight of the hospital. I'm like, cool, bro.
The weight of the hospital. Get out of here.
He also said that radiology he never knew I was a radiologist. I never mentioned. I don't tell anybody,
No.
And he was like, yeah, radiologist is gonna be replaced by AI like next year. I was like, okay, bro.
Okay. All right. Good. I
Whatever.
hope so. I'll retire.
Sounds good. No one can hear it, Jim. This is the
Go ahead and edit that out. Make it a little shorter, Michael. How about you make that segment a
Yeah.
little shorter? Okay.
How about you make that segment a little short?
No, I hate that when these old physicians are like, we used to work in the hospital for 48 hours straight. I'm like, that's a horrible idea.
Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
like, that sounds miserable.
Yeah.
Why would you do that?
Yeah. What are you talking
Yeah,
about?
they'll tell me stuff like that, and then they'll also say in the same breath, like, I used to get paid 50% gross
Yeah,
production.
exactly.
I'm like,
That's-
okay, well, which one do you want, it big guy?
Yeah. That's what I hate. It's like you got paid more for less like
I got-
patients. What are you talking
Dude,
about?
I gotta tell you, the biggest a-holes I've ever met in my career have been these boomer specialists from back in the 70s and 80s.
The good old
I'm
days.
not saying all of them, but I'm saying the ones that are the Mount Rushmore of a-holes I've met in my career have been
Yeah.
from that era.
It's so
Yeah.
weird. I
I had a
understood it.
teacher in vet school one time. I had to go. He was my mentor. The guy was absolutely effing crazy. This dude. I won't say his name. But
Drag him through
this
the
guy-
mud.
This guy was nuts, like nuts. And I had to get something signed. Like he had to sign off that I was doing the right amount of electives. Like I didn't even know the guy. He wasn't my mentor in any way.
Yeah, the
shape, or
guy
form.
just
Right. So I go up there and I didn't sign it first. It was a form I had to sign that he had to sign. And I hand him the thing. He goes, "This is blank." I go, "Oh yeah, I just haven't gotten around to signing it yet." I was like, "Can you just sign it?" He goes, he takes it, he does like this. He doesn't throw it, but he like forcefully takes it back to me. He goes, "Get the out of here with that." I was like, "What?" I was like, "Do you want me to just?" I was like, "Can I just sign it now?" He goes, "Just come back later." And I was like,
What? You should have walked out the door, grabbed the pen, signed it, and be like, "I'm back."
this
Just
is my
taking that pen
freshman
and
year
go,
in vet school. Yeah.
See, I don't know how
I
you
know.
guys, because you guys are both big. Like, I'm not a big person. It's the same because like everyone's generally smaller than you two, like that you work with in medicine. And it's like, oh
Yeah.
god,
Well, this was this is my first year in vet school. This happened,
okay,
and I didn't know like if this. I didn't know what a specialist was, let alone like if this guy was going to be able to just like cancel my entire career.
yeah,
That's the
I
problem.
didn't know what he was. Like he was just up in some office in the top floor of the vet school building, and I didn't know if he would be like, oh, this guy like got fresh with me, so see you later.
That's the thing with that is the problem with all of medical education is because the hierarchy and you don't know what could happen because your fate revolves on what they say about you and your reputation and they could ruin it. You could not get a
now-
residency spot. You cannot do anything. But yeah,
Right.
there's
Make
a
friends
lot
with
of that going on. And it didn't happen to me that often, honestly.
yeah. I was like speaking to someone. They were talking about how like in residencies, like people like residents and like med students being afraid to like bring concerns about whatever program they're in to like their
Oh, yeah.
superiors. And they were like shocked by that idea. They're like, what? They're like, people are afraid to bring up criticisms. They're like, well, yeah, like every time you need a reference or anything, it's dependent on the people you work for. So it's like, I'm going to say you're not doing a good job and then expect them to be like, give me a
Yeah.
glowing
Like,
review
well-
that I'm required to have that you're
Like,
saying
well-
I need to have.
Well, Tommy is a complainer. He's been complaining a lot about the program, trying to make it better. And we think he's a nuisance.
Yeah, that's hilarious. And so the people were like shocked by that would be like an idea that would happen that like someone this is like a universal thing across all
You can always
residencies.
come to us.
Yeah. And they're like, why are residents in general like not want to speak to their attendings and like tell them they're not doing a good job? Be like, you say in my next step, I have to have their approval to do stuff. And
Yes,
you're supposed to
because
like
we want a
criticize-
job.
Yeah, it's like because I spent $300,000 to do this job for 10 years and I want an actual job. Like that's why
Yeah,
no one says anything.
I don't want my future to be ruined.
Yeah, that's just like, but it's so funny. Like med students, residents all across the country, and it's like I'm like, were you not in med school at any point in time? Like, do you not remember this?
See, that's why I kind of changed my channel a little bit because I want to go down some of these avenues because I don't have to like live in fear anymore. So I
Yeah.
kind of want to open up some conversations on topics like that, like that and stuff.
Oh yeah,
Just
it's
no
amazing
one's
how fast you forget about like what it was like to be a student or like a resident at certain
Yeah.
points, and people just forget. I'm like, we're like, did you not experience stuff like this? Where it was like,
well, medicine is just one of those things where it's just like I said before, we had a hard time and it was a lot of hard work for us and we had to suffer. Therefore, you should also do the same.
yeah, it's mostly
The
just
worst
boomers.
worst logic I've ever heard in my life, but that's the problem with medicine. They ruin medicine with that kind of logic, and it never goes anywhere.
No,
Never gets better.
yeah, well,
Jim,
maybe one day.
do you want to do a vet corner?
Yeah, we can do a vet corner.
Do you have another topic on it, or
Yeah. So I wanted to bring up a thing that probably the most. I always say this just because I get asked the same question on a weekly basis. I get asked the same like 10 questions every single week. And something happened to me yesterday that made me think I should probably tell more people about this. And that was the question of like when to put my dog down. Like when is the right time to humanely euthanize my pet?
it's a good question.
Because to start with, it's based on, and I don't mean to sound insensitive, it's based on a fallacy that the goal is to somehow try to find the magic time point to where my dog transitions from good quality of life to instantly poor quality of life.
Right.
And I want to do euthanasia, boom, right then and there. But the reality of the situation is you're never going to be there. There is no perfect time for it.
Mm.
So what I tell people is what an oncologist at school told me, and what many oncologists kind of do, is that you want to try to objectify a subjective assessment, meaning quality of life. You can't objectively quantify something like quality of life. The word quality is in it, it's qualitative. So you want to try to find a list of things your pet does that is like their daily routine, And I usually tell people like 3 to 5 things, like if they like a certain toy, if they eat a certain amount, if they like to go to a certain spot, like in the backyard or whatever. And if you see them doing that less and less, you're crossing things off the list, and their life becomes not what their life used to be.
Mhm.
And that allows you to see what their life is now compared to what normal is. And you can actually see it on paper, like, oh, this is like much different.
Huh.
So I did tell, kind of go through that in a brain tumor dog who was just like completely, like, dogs will, I don't know if people do stuff like this, but dogs get more or less just like dementia when they have brain tumors, and they'll walk in like one direction, and they'll just like press their head into a wall and just do this.
Okay.
And they won't move and stuff like that. You guys
I don't
ever
know.
heard?
I don't
Yeah,
have a
do
lot of
people
experience
behave
with,
in
like,
that way?
neurosurgery.
Yeah, I don't have a lot of
services
experience with the
and
neurocognitive stuff either.
Yeah.
And I had the owner was like, well, he's eating, and I had to be like, well, not really himself though. He's
Yeah.
just doing this
yeah.
literally 24/7 into a wall, and I had to kind of educate him about that. But anyway, that's probably, that's got to be in the top 3 like most common questions I get.
For sure.
When
That's
to
a
know.
hard, that's a hard question to answer.
Yeah.
And everybody
It's
has to have to go through that.
I
at some
forget
point.
that in human medicine, you guys just go to the end.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You guys are just max out, literally do everything possible all the way until nature runs its course.
Full court press.
Yeah.
Until sometimes some people have like a realistic expectation that's portrayed where hospice.
But
comes in.
but like there's always life support at some point, and then
Yeah,
you just stop it.
like
right?
technically, yes.
Yeah, but ultimately it's on the family members, and that's always the hardest thing for human medicine is convincing, or not convincing, that's the wrong word, is allowing them, providing them with enough information to make that decision.
Yeah, because the problem is most people at the end of their life, you don't like cognitively, you're just not there, and it's like I feel like more common to be like, this person has no idea what's going on, they're not really themselves. So then it becomes the family's decision, and it's like a whole different issue. It's kind of the same thing with like owner. That's a bad analogy.
Yeah, it's just like
someone else is making that decision for them.
Yeah. In human world, it's the realistic goals and expectations, quality of life. Like, it's hard for people to grasp, is my loved one, like, they're never going to be the same, and they're never going to be like how they were before they came in here.
Yeah.
Like, right. And that's the biggest problem that you probably see that too, is, Jim, is like neurologically devastated patients.
Right.
Is there is a point where everybody has to basically make the decision. Some can make it easier than others, but and the other good thing is, other good and bad thing is that in human medicine, we're so advanced, we can keep people alive, for a very long time.
Oh yeah. You can keep a body alive for a very long time.
Yeah. Even a brain dead human being, you can keep them alive for a long time.
You can perfuse organs for very easily.
Forever.
Yeah.
Like ECMO. Like you can put people on ECMO and it's like, don't need heart and lungs anymore. It's like,
yeah. So,
yeah, I see dogs and cats on the ventilator sometimes, and I don't know. I don't know when it's a good thing. I'm waiting for the case for me to see where I'm like, oh, that was a good thing that we did that.
I mean, I feel like dogs,
but I don't see them all the time either. So
yeah, I feel like dogs, it's like they can have like horrific OA or something, like their hips, and it's like the worst OA you've ever seen, and they're like perfectly happy, and they're just dragging their back feet along.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Why are they so happy all the time to like not walk?
Like Apollo was like
crazy.
that. He had horrible
our
back
dog
hip
growing
OA,
up.
and he was the sweet. He's like, hey, what's going on?
He had the worst hips. I had his hips x-rayed when I was a student at Georgia.
Yeah.
I took him to a practice I was doing a rotation at, and I looked at it, and I hadn't like been through much yet, so I didn't really know how to read x-rays.
Yeah.
And I was looking at his hips, I was like, that doesn't look normal at all. Like that's
just like gnarly and
that
eroded.
And the vet came over. He was like, dude, Jim, these are the worst hips I've ever seen in my entire career. And he's been a vet for like 40 years.
Poor Apollo. He was a sweet. I love that dog, man.
Yeah,
but
then like
he's always so happy.
We didn't. I mean, obviously, mom didn't get hip replacement surgery for Apollo.
I mean, we literally couldn't afford it. There was no possible way on earth. There was
also, he was old though, wasn't he?
No, he was young
Yeah,
then. He was only
yeah.
a couple years old then.
He started
Why
getting
he
he
better.
lived.
Yeah. Why is that genetic?
It's genetic. Yeah, it's genetic with these ducks. But he lived for like 10, 12 more years after
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. How?
It's crazy.
That was a trooper.
Oh yeah.
But you could tell when he walked, he was hobbled all the
Yeah.
time.
Oh,
but
yeah.
like he didn't have to do anything. He was just hanging out in his dog glue outside. And
Yeah. He would
Running
always
around the
get like
backyard.
super excited and run around, and then his like back. I could tell his back hips were killing him. Like, bro, relax for a
I know.
second, man.
yeah,
You're
You have to
dying
get
over
so
here.
excited over here.
it's so crazy the standard of care that most people like. I mean, isn't like 85% of people and pet owners are okay with, including us as a kid.
Yeah.
Is like, I got to be careful because in specialty world, it's like, you mean you didn't take him to a specialist surgeon and have hip replacement surgery on
Yeah.
his left and right hips and do full rehab for 6 weeks afterwards?
You're like,
What do you mean you didn't do that?
it's like,
How would I?
who's paying for that?
Just
out of
there's
curiosity.
there's no capability for us to do this. Like
Yeah.
it's not even in the realm of possibility.
Yeah.
So we're just gonna let him live with painful hips.
Yeah. Give him some NSAIDs, and hopefully.
And if you had to, and if you had to ask him, he'd probably say, "Yeah, I'd rather live like this than die."
What was that? What was the
asking Apollo? Hey, Apollo. He's like, oh.
what's the inside we used to give him?
Carprofen,
What's the other name?
Rimadyl.
Rimadyl. That's what I always heard.
Oh.
Yeah.
What is that?
Yeah.
Just like ibuprofen?
It's an NSAID. No, it's not ibuprofen. It's
Something like
just
that.
an NSAID that is different from ibuprofen. I don't know off the top of my head,
No, okay.
but you can't give ibuprofen to dogs. Don't do it.
It's a,
Yeah,
it's a
dogs have to
dog
have
safe-
special. Dogs have to have special dog NSAIDs because it will absolutely wreck their GI tract.
Oh, okay. I heard
Just like
that.
Tommy.
Yeah. Yeah. Me
How's
and
it, Tommy?
dogs have the same issues.
Yeah.
Don't take
So,
meloxicam. Heads up.
Yeah.
So I found another chiropractic TikTok that I want Michael and Tommy to review
Let's
because
let's
this,
be
this
beautiful.
one
Let's
revolves an X-ray.
end on the end on a bang here.
Oh, there you go.
You know, I was gonna. I saw this one. I was going to. Oh wait, this is a different one. No, this isn't the same one. But
No,
let me
it's a
play it.
different one.
Yeah, it is a different one.
All right, ready?
Oh God, I can already see this nonsense. They drew stuff, so you know it's terrible. Hold on, can we go back before it talks? Let's analyze that.
Hold on.
Before you go into the video, let me analyze the picture.
Okay.
So before we do the video, let me see the actual cervical spine X-ray, and I'll analyze what he's doing, and then we'll see what because I haven't seen this video, but I'm just curious here. All right.
Man, what's
So-
that line come through?
so we have two red arrows. So this is a cervical spine. I guess
Mhm.
there's some. These are earrings, by the way.
Yeah, those are
you should take those out before any X-ray, by the way,
Yeah.
because
Hey,
you
don't worry-
literally you
don't
literally
worry about
can't see
C1 and
you
C2.
literally can't see the Lano-Dens interval C1 C2, which is very important. You can't see the Dens, all of C2.
You mean, Michael, you don't want to cover up with metal half of your vertebrae?
I mean, this is how you know this is a terrible X-ray.
I mean,
So
those
these are all
earrings
things are wrong.
so aggressively.
So
covered.
we
Keep
have
going.
what 2,
Please keep
3,
going.
4, 5, 6. C7 is not visualized, so they need to get a swimmer's view. This is an inadequate
Yeah.
X-ray.
Yep.
Furthermore,
Well, I'm shocked
These-
by this.
these arrows are pointing to
The osteophytes.
Hold
yeah,
on. I
Brit-
know what this is. This is spondylosis deformans, right?
sure.
I mean, technically,
It's
don't
just-
you have
it's
to have 4 vertebrae in a row?
Yeah, for ankylosis.
Yeah.
But this is
Or
just
dish.
bridging. These are bridging
Just
bridging
osteophytes.
osteophytes,
Yeah.
anterior osteophytes.
Yeah, we call that spondylosis. I don't know if it's what's this red arrow pointing to? Is just saying skull?
That's the occiput.
Occiput.
Yeah.
I just
This is your skull. I guarantee he's so this is
Hold on. Now you're missing the what's the yellow?
I know I'm getting
curved
there.
line?
I'm getting there. So he's first of all, let's go up here first. He's measuring the Atlanto-Dens interval, which should be less than 3 millimeters, but you can't see it because it's covered by an earring. So I don't know what he's measuring.
Okay.
he's measuring
And
the
then-
earring itself.
Why is
don't
he
know what-
measuring anything? He's not a radiologist.
No idea.
Because
So
Why does he even have arrows up here?
yeah,
I have no idea. Because he's trying to point things out to the patient, I bet, to show
it's
that
a
like
s-
they need help.
I like you have C7 and it's just like over a whited out
You
shoulder.
can't even see C7.
I know.
Also, this is C7, not this. So this is C7 right here. So he has this yellow line, which he's probably, this is like a common thing I've seen on chiropractic TikTok lately, is that this is the normal curvature that your spine should be. The normal lordotic curve your cervical spine should be in.
Yeah, what is he even?
I don't know because you can make this up. You can make this however you want to be.
It's just
Second of all,
positional.
Second of all, this patient could just be sitting like this,
You should be
Right.
which they probably told him to take the X-ray like this.
like sit straight
They're
up.
like, oh, this is neutral. And then he's saying it should be like this. So it's just positional. You can't make any comment off this unless there's like a flexion or extension or anything. So anyways, let's get into the video.
And before we start, overstating X-ray findings is the biggest problem I face in my career from like a, I don't know.
People love to draw conclusions from X-rays.
Please, Tim.
Dude.
Also, before we get into the video, these X-ray findings, I probably see on 99% of patients over the age of 35.
Yeah.
Yeah.
99.
I was about to say, judging by the metallic fillings that they have and the amount they have, they're like probably in their 60s. 60s,
And this
70s,
is a
somewhere
good
like that.
spine for 60s,
You mean in the
70s.
teeth, Tommy, right?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
like older, that's like such an old school thing to have metallic fillings and like
Sure.
Yeah.
missing teeth. So
Is
it's
this your
like,
hyoid apparatus?
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
So yeah, so this is a pretty good looking spine for 60-ish, 50, anybody really.
Alright.
That has metal fillings. Probably
Yeah.
50. If
it
I had to
actually
guess.
doesn't look that bad.
So
let's
you're
see-
saying if you saw this X-ray, you would not say that there was chiropractic indicated based on the X-ray.
No, if I saw this X-ray, I would say multi-level degenerative disc disease.
Right.
Yeah.
Correlate
medical-
to clinical findings.
Mild
Not medical
multi-level.
advice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Not
Let's keep
medical
going.
advice.
The facets look great too.
And look, that's all you can say from, I mean, you can deduce a lot from this one image.
yeah.
So let's see what he has to say, because I know it's gonna be great.
You've probably heard on TikTok that degeneration is normal, that it's a normal sign of aging. Let me show you something. So their spine looks terrible. So
Did you just say it looks
Michael,
terrible?
Would you say the spine looks terrible?
No, I would
Oh.
not. I would say that's a run-of-the-mill spine for that age.
That is literally like you may not even mention the degenerative changes unless they're specific.
Can you turn your volume up?
Problems.
Jim?
Yeah, I can't hear it.
It's up as high. It's up as high.
All right, I'll just have to boost it.
Yeah.
He called it severe. I mean, I would never even remotely call
Right.
it severe.
Carry on.
God, can I clip this and make a video on my channel about it?
Sure.
Yes.
I mean, Tommy and I have both seen some severe spines, and
Yeah.
they are bad.
You know,
Yeah.
one of my favorite attendings, he told me, because when you're first first year radiology resident, you always call stuff severe that's not even remotely severe. And he's always like, as a general rule, when it looks the worst you've ever seen, call that severe. And he goes,
Right.
other stuff falls into moderate.
Because when you
He's-
call something severe, there's no
Needs-
higher severity.
exactly, that is the peak of how bad this can get.
It's
And
like when
this is
people
not-
see oh my God, this is a pet peeve, and then we'll get into the rest of the video. When people see a fat dog and they call it, we have a scale where 9 out of 9 is like the most obese you can be.
yeah,
And they just like, they hate, right? Like 9 out of 9 obese for this fat dog.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm like, you mean to tell me this dog cannot get any fatter? Like, of course it can.
Yeah. So this, a 90-year-old spine with an osteoporotic spine of a 90-year-old is far worse
yeah.
than you would have. I guarantee Jim's or Tommy's spine probably looks like this.
Oh yeah. Also,
So wait,
Not mine.
for
you think-
X-rays, yeah, not mine.
not yours.
You can't. The thing is about these X-rays with like degenerative changes, there is no like study that ever says it's like this is specifically the cause of pain or like how bad the degenerative change is like in general. But you're like, you can't see an osteophyte and be like, yep, that's the pain causing, unless
Also-
you know it's pressing on something.
Also,
Right.
these osteophyte complexes anteriorly, where the red arrows are, like, he's not going to do anything about that.
Right.
Right.
He's
Let-
gonna do
let's-
HVLA and cause a fracture of them. That's what he's gonna
Well,
do.
maybe. Yeah. So let's get into the video a little bit more.
Yeah, let's go.
this line, that's where natural curvature should be. We can see that their curve is kind of going the opposite direction, right?
What curve? What
He's
is- what is
just
he
drawing a
talking-
line. He's drawing
just
a
Saying it should
random
be
line.
more lordotic. Yeah.
So let's just see here. So this line, what is the top of this yellow line going to? Just a random point on the scroll base?
Yeah.
Right.
Like, there's no landmark. He's just using whatever he wants to draw and saying this is normal,
Yeah.
It's not.
and then
It
drawing
do-
a right
it doesn't
angle.
have to be like normal variation of lordotic curvatures are like so varied that it
Yeah.
doesn't mean
See,
that
I'm glad you
thi-
guys
that
are seeing
has to
this
be
because
normal.
I watched these on my TikTok because I've gotten into it with this guy a couple of times.
Yeah.
And
Let's go.
when I see stuff like this, I don't want to comment on human medicine, obviously.
Can you
But
send this to me? I'll do a
Neither should
duet.
he.
I'll
Yeah.
do a
You
duet.
can't,
of
you
this.
can't duet. He has all of his duets off, but you can just.
Of course,
screen
yes.
record.
I'll just stream
Of
record it.
course, right?
yeah, naturally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it's just an arbitrary line. And again, this is a static X-ray. It's not
Right.
dynamic. you cannot tell the curve of the spine based because you have no idea the position. What if that patient's in a C collar? That's what it would look like.
Yeah. Right. It's like you have no idea.
So, okay, go ahead.
All right.
This was a normal part of aging. Aren't all of these vertebrae the same age? Why are there only bone spurs here and here?
Oh my God.
Because maybe that's where the more of the degenerative changes happen from the more usage of those levels.
It's almost
Like
like
that-
the biomechanics of the spine impart forces to different areas of the spine throughout your life.
Yeah.
It's so weird.
Also, what is he going to do about it?
Right.
That's the other thing. That's not. It's not even the diagnostic criteria. It's like,
Yeah.
so are you gonna just make it go away now?
Right.
And it's
All right.
better and perfect.
Carry on.
It's because of stress. This curvature now goes this way. This is the apex of the curve. This is under more stress than the rest of the spine. So now we're going to have more bone spurs forming here than anywhere else. Again, it has nothing to do with age. It has to do with stress and pressure on the joint.
More
So
stress
he's-
and pressure.
So I
with
see
it.
where he's coming from because he's using this and he's basically creating a way to now that he's going to say, I'm treating the C5 to or C4 to C6 levels. And that's why, because those are under more stress. But like, that's not based on anything. You can't just say
See,
that.
that's where the issue becomes, where it's like, I can't as a physician just recommend stuff and be like, yeah, well, do this, this, and this, and be like, for what purpose? Be like, what if that hurts someone? I could go to jail, apparently. But
Yeah.
it's like, you can't, that's not the issue here. It's not that we know everything and it's like you have to take opiates and that's the only way. The problem
No.
is we don't have evidence to say, yeah, this HVLA that he's doing is going to fix all the problems. Like, no one can say that. Neither
And
can he. He's just making it up.
yeah. And maybe 10 years from now, there's going to be some groundbreaking data that's going to come out and say, hey, when you do HVLA to these lower cervical spine, when there's more
what
stress
is
in there,
HVLA? What is HVLA?
high
That's the
velocity, low
cracking,
amplitude.
basically.
When
Shout
you
out
do
to DO
that,
schools.
when you do this to those areas, like this has a great result. Then
Yeah.
and then everybody's gonna be like, yeah, okay, let's do it.
Yeah.
And then people are gonna be like, I told you all along.
Like, you didn't provide evidence as to why this was working, so we can't do it.
So
It's like-
and again, like he has a good point. There's more stress on the lower vertebral bodies here because that's where all the degenerative
Right.
changes are. Agreed. But to use that as like, say there's anterior osteophytes, now I must treat the posterior. First of all, he can't treat the anterior. What's he gonna do?
no, I'm sure he'll make up something about.
So just to be clear, he's saying that he's seeing evidence of stress formation or these degenerative
just
changes
chronic
here,
degenerative changes. Yes.
Right.
and to prevent those from happening on the posterior side, he's going to do a chiropractic treatment.
I guess.
I don't
I just relieve stress of those joints.
I think he's just saying where there is stress, chiropractics can come in and relieve that stress.
Okay.
I suppose. Is
Based
what
off
the
this
base-
arbitrary
yeah, he's just
curvature
using
angle.
two osteophytes to
Based off a
bridging
line that
osteophytes.
goes between,
something.
I don't know, what's that? The trachea in there somewhere?
No, that's like
It's
T1.
Okay.
It's not even,
It's
not even
a-
C7.
It's a overlying soft tissue attenuation.
Yeah.
To
So
the
I see
occiput.
his point. You can't, because he's saying there's degenerative changes here. There's probably stress here. Therefore, I need to treat it. But your treatment has no backing to say that it actually does anything to help that. So
Also, I
That's the
guarantee
issue.
you he's going
that
to
right
do
there,
like
what Michael said.
he's going to do a C1 like C2 adjustment
Yeah,
to fix
of course,
this.
there's an
Because
arrow there.
They love messing with the atlas. That's like
Yeah, but there's an arrow here. How can you not treat it when there's an
Yeah.
arrow?
right.
There's earrings and arrows.
That's beautiful.
If that came across,
I need to follow this guy.
Michael, if that came across your screen and you're like, "Who took this?" I'd be like, "What? Which one of the texts
Yeah,
did this?"
I would call the
study?"
exercise exactly and be like, "Did you think it was a good idea to leave the earring on, covering the whole
now-
spine?"
Give me
No,
a
let's
heads
also-
up. Like, I'll check it before they go. It's like, God.
Well, let's also bring up the fact that this person does chiropractic treatments on this person, and then we'll also do it on a snake, a
Oh.
turkey.
Is this
Wait,
the same
that's
one?
This is the animal one.
Yeah.
Oh,
Did he block you yet?
No.
bro? You can't do chiropractic on a snake and then read a cervical spine X-ray. I'm sorry, but those two things don't work out.
Yeah. You mean to tell me we're getting lectured about biomechanics of the spine and degenerative radiographic changes, and then my next appointment's a bearded dragon. I got to do an adjustment.
I've
What-
been in
what-
residence-
What
He told me
planet
his
are we
I've been
on?
beard
in
was
residency
hurting.
for 6 years to read these, and he's like, "Oh, I did a snake the other day, and now I can
Yeah.
read an X-ray."
I do it all.
Yeah.
I thought the,
All right,
the chiropractic
let's-
stuff went really well. Do you guys want to keep talking about stuff?
All right, we're gonna go. Tommy has to go to work, and I have to do other stuff.
Yeah. I'm starving.
I bet Michael does nothing. Michael, research and do justice.
No, I have to do a
for,
video, and then I will. I have to do a video on that, and then a video that I'm already posting today that I have to write. So
She says research and justice for.
yeah,
Not,
I'll also
not
have
just
to
a
edit
video.
and
Justice.
edit this 2-hour podcast as well sometime in the meantime.
justice for RaDonda. I mean that seriously. I'm not kidding.
Yeah, that's actually true.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Justice
I'll
for
just-
RaDonda.
I'll do some research and see what I can find. All right,
All right.
send us out, Jim.
You guys take it easy. Follow Michael on Dr. Cellini. Follow me on DVM Cellini. And please subscribe to this podcast. We're hitting very nice engagement, but our subscribers are lagging behind.
Whoa. Subscribers.
So yeah, we need to hit 1,000 subscribers and then we'll start making more content.
All right, we'll see you on the
That's
next
all I
one.
got.
Yeah.
All right, see ya.